My name's Davida Shinsky, and the title of this program is Live Without Limits, Reach Personal Success on a Daily Basis. Our purpose is to talk to you about psychology and mental health, relationships, and personal development, anything that affects your mindset and keeps you from reaching your goals. Today's presentation is titled Wealth Mindset versus Poverty Mindset. How can you develop a wealthy mind mentality from daily finances? And the first thing I want to say about this is it's something that can be drummed into you from childhood. Because if you grow up in a family where the family struggle, then that's the message that they're given to you. You have to understand where you're coming from and how you can change that mindset. Understandably, we all have a lot of worry and anxiety around money. We get so many questions from our listeners about the world of personal finance, wealth mindset, financial motivation, which makes a lot of sense considering that your mental health and personal development can be incredibly influenced by how you feel about work and experience, money, and wealth. Today, we're trying something a little different, considering how much we focus on the topic of mindset. We thought that we would share one of our most popular presentations on the wealth mindset versus the poverty mindset. And let us know if you find it helpful and you'd like to see more. The wealth mindset versus the poverty mindset, and how can you develop a wealth mentality? Wealth and poverty are a mix of work ethic, education, opportunity, chance, and so much more. It is a very complex topic. However, since Robert Kiyosaki's hit book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, a lot of attention has been paid to the wealth mentality and its dreaded counterpart, the poverty mentality or rich mindset versus poor mindset. So, in this presentation, we will focus on the financial mentalities and make sense of these concepts. So, what causes wealth and poverty? Wealth and poverty are complex issues. When it comes to poverty in particular, there are many factors that are simply beyond individual decision making. That's true, regardless of where you are studying. And poverty. Wealth, on the other hand, requires deliberate action to be built up. Apart from getting an inheritance, wealth is typically built up over time. So, some level of hard work, but always with a sense of a mission. If you're wondering how this works and the rich mindset purported to promote the wealth growth, listen to the rest of the podcast. Can I control my financial future? To some extent, the answer is always yes. However, there are several factors that might exist in your current financial reality that can hinder that process. Too much debt, inability to earn an adequate income, disabilities, injuries, now, that's something that I can attest to because I grew up with a disability at a time when there were no laws that guaranteed people with disabilities the right to an education or the right to employment. And then when I graduated college, I could get a job with the state because there were certain laws in place, but I couldn't get any other type of job. And there was no service or agency for me to go to help me with building my own business. So, therefore, it took me much longer to get the financial security for myself that I could have had I had the right support systems in place, dependent financial responsibilities, and many other factors. However, if you're in a position to earn a middle class income, there aren't bogged down by debt or other financial stresses, you are already a candidate for becoming a millionaire. So, what does it take to embrace a wealth mentality and start getting rich? According to Time Corley's research, there are a few key things that most millionaires share in common coming from a middle class income and earning a six-figure salary, relatively earning in your career, or living very frugally, maintaining a low cost of living and saving instead of spending lavishly, saving at least 20% of your income, beginning to invest and save early in life and continuing to do so to pay close attention to this one. This is a key component of wealth mindset. Now, I've actually written a course on building passive income and creating wealth, and understanding how to do that is part of building that long term income so that you, as you retire, don't have to depend on just Social Security alone or just your pension from your job because it's going to change over time. And with the advent of the internet and building a business online, it's easier now to change that mindset and get out of the poverty mindset and into the wealth mindset. What is a poverty mindset? The poverty mindset describes a set of attitudes and beliefs that keep those who could potentially become rich in the middle or lower classes. The poverty mentality is essentially defined by pessimism, which in turn is caused by fear and non prudent decision making. One of the most and the worst ways that you can manifest and rationalize poor financial decisions. For example, why should I invest now? It's not like I get rich. I might as well make sure I just enjoy my life and live in the moment. Most people will not get rich, but that is no reason to ignore tested, practical financial logic. You will probably not become the next Warren Buffett. So what? That is no reason to spend lavishly, not work hard, not save money, and not invest. So, what is the wealth mindset? The wealth mentality describes the opposite of the poverty mentality. It's all defined by optimism and prudent, wise financial decision making. If you describe or subscribe to the wealth mentality, you believe that there will one day you will be wealthy due to your hard work and sound financial decisions. Understand that you will need to make the effort to save and then invest. Appreciate the power of compounding interest. Believe that improving your financial standing is the right thing to do and let it's possible. Want to test yourself and see what you're made of. Having a wealth mindset does not mean believing in fairy tales or stroking your ego with unearned optimism. It's quite the opposite, actually. It simply means that you believe in the potential to improve your financial standing, taking a tested practical approach to building wealth, self discipline, delayed gratification. In real terms, to subscribe to the wealth mentality is a completely practical pursuit. Of course, the world will put many roadblocks in your way, and building wealth will be extraordinarily challenging in some ways. But with hard work and respect for financially sound decision making, you will at least do the best that you can and build far more wealth than you would have been able to if you subscribe to the poverty mentality. How do you escape the poverty mentality? It is important to see that the poverty mindset for what it is, a mindset. So the first step is to change your mindset. And remember, that is what's so important. And let me tell you something. I grew up in a home that both grandparents on both sides came from Europe, and they came with the right mentality. And on my father's side, my grandfather had a push cart and sold fruit from the street corners. On my mother's side, my grandfather, his family settled in Savannah, and they owned the general store. My grandfather could not stand the heat or the humidity, so he went back home to Russia. And when he came back to the United States, he settled in New York City. And my grandmother had come from a home where they were very religious. And what they did was they would go to the shul and they would pray all day. And the adults ate first and the children ate what was ever left over. So she kind of had that poverty mindset and passed it along to my aunts and uncles. And many of them worked in salary jobs, but they didn't look to better themselves. My mother did, but she still had that poverty mentality. And even though she was sitting financially secure, she kept passing along to her children the poverty mentality. So, how do you change that kind of mindset to think differently? And we've just talked about some ways for you to do so.